Have you started a project, worked really hard to get all the way up to the go live? Everybody's ready, everybody's excited, momentum is great. You go live, everybody's still on cloud nine, everybody's still giving a ton of effort, and right after go live, you start to see a dip in production. You start to see a dip in people's productivity, in their momentum, in their motivation. Well, there's good news. There's good news. There are reasons for this, and these reasons are things that you can plan for if you are prepared. And so in this video, we are going to break down the reasons that you see momentum dip, productivity dip after a go live, and we're going to talk about what you can do about it so that it doesn't happen again. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. I'll be right back where we're going to get started. Okay, welcome back. Let's get started. So, you're there. You've went through the go live. Everybody's worked hard, and now you start to see productivity issues. You start to see motivation drop. You start to see productivity start to weather in areas that you didn't expect. And you're thinking, what did I do wrong? What should I have done differently? There are a couple of reasons for this. We're going to break down reason number one now. Reason number one is roles and responsibilities are not always clear. People don't understand how they fit into the process. So a lot of times, if you think about your training, if you think about your project, whatever your project is for, if it's for a process, if it's for a program, if it's for a product line, if it's specifically for IT functionality, if you think about what you did during the project to prepare for this, most of the time, or some of the time, you talked about roles and responsibilities, but it was not a clearly defined piece of the project. You might have talked about the process and you just assumed or implied that certain people were responsible for that piece of the process. However, keep in mind, people are so focused on trying to understand how they fit in the big picture, what is it going to look like for them, that they really, really struggle with understanding how it all fits together. Okay? They don't know how they fit, and most of the time, honestly, they don't understand the entire process to begin with. They don't understand how A fits into B and B fits into C and the whole A to Z process. And so they're just worried about what do they have to do? What keystrokes do they need to make? What phone calls do they need to make? What piece of the process is theirs? They're not really understanding the entire process. And more importantly, they're not understanding their roles or their responsibilities in the entire process to begin with. So, and also, another thing that you have to consider is sometimes with new implementations, whether that be software, again, whether that be product line, you also have to understand that some new implementations also introduce new processes. And when you introduce new processes for individuals, they are so focused in on what specifically they have to do, they don't understand the big picture. So bringing this all together, what I'm saying to you is this. Once somebody goes live, once you implement a process, once you implement a system, everyone has been so focused and taken so much in during the project, taken so much in during training, that they never really completely absorbed the entire process and how it affects the organization and how it works from beginning to end. Okay? They never understood completely. Maybe they did that day, that one day, when you were in the room and everybody was talking about it and everybody shook their head yes. But now you're several weeks, several months down the road, and now we're live Now the situation has come up where now we need to do the process, or now we have to address the issue, and everybody forgets. Nobody knows what to do. And so that's where we have to be cognizant of when we are in the process, when we are in the project, when we are preparing everyone. This is how you address roles and responsibilities not being understood after go live. Is you have to alter your training process to identify not only the steps of the process, but the roles, so that your documentation, the training itself, all is defined not by the step-by-step process, not only by the what and the how, but also the who. You have to incorporate that into your training process. Who is responsible for this step? How are they going to do it? What are they going to do for this process? So then, after go live, when this process comes up and no one knows what to do, and you provided that training, you provide that documentation to them, they now have a reference that says not only what and how do we do this process, but it says who is involved as well. And so by altering your training process slightly, modifying your documentation slightly, you're able to identify the entire process so that when this comes up weeks and months down the road, everyone knows exactly what to do. And for the 100th time, that 100th time that you've been through that go live, and you constantly get the question on week 2, week 3, week 4, well, how do I do that? Well, who's supposed to do that step? How's that supposed to work? And you're constantly telling the organization how to do their process because we didn't provide them the proper documentation. We didn't provide them the proper training when we delivered this to them. Now, by altering your training process, you're going to be able to do that. And now those questions go away because now the answers are right in front of them. So stay tuned. Tip number 2 is coming in part 2 series. So go to the search, type in part 2, and you will find part 2 for our next reason that productivity dips after a go live.